Well, howdy folks. It's a frosty morning up here at the property, and the dog and I are just up for a quick one day, and it's kind of round two on winterizing and getting ready for the winter. Just a beautiful cool morning. So it's just below freezing today, down to about -4 at the moment. Should warm up to about 9 degrees today, hopefully, and we'll see if we can get some work done. So come on along and we'll finish up some of the winterizing we need to do around the cabin. So that solar heater is already working. Even at -4, as I say outside, it's you can feel some warm air coming out the top here. Now I brought this guy. These are two little 2.5 watt solar panels. They go on sale for like 10 bucks a piece kind of thing once in a while. One of them isn't quite enough to drive that little fan by itself, but if you wire two of them together like this, then they tend to do just fine running that thing. So we're gonna hook that up and get that going a little bit on the outside of the cabin, and we'll run the wire inside, and then that fan will be blowing that warm air through here and circulating it a little bit better. So we'll let that spin away, and we'll maybe check in here. So like I say, it's -4 outside currently. In here it is right around 0, or about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll check back in a little bit and see how well this solar heater is cranking the heat in here. One of the big jobs I want to get done today is waterproofing the deck again. We just use like a Thompson's water seal to seal the deck each year, and I haven't gotten to it this summer, and it looks like now's the time. We got to do it before the snow comes, obviously, and it looks like we're gonna have a stretch here without any rain for a couple of days, so now's a good time. But I'm gonna have to wait a few hours because she's still a little frosty. In the meanwhile, we can take care of a little trail maintenance that I've been meaning to get to. On the trail down to the beaver pond, there's a tree down, and there's a few other things we need to clear up there if we want to get the snowmobile through to the beaver pond on that trail this winter. I'll get this chainsaw up and running, and then we'll head out and do that. So here's our tree down across the path. We'll take care of that, and then we need to widen that out a little bit so we can get the sled through there. So let's get to work. So unfortunately, those most of the trees that come down around here are just old punky ones that are already dead, and so they're not a lot of value in terms of firewood because they're already rotten on the inside, just old poplar. So don't do us much good to collect the wood, so we'll just chuck it in the woods again and let it be habitat for something else. Brought out the big guns to take care of this stump. Okay, so we'll take some of that firewood back. I'll get this stump level down as far to the ground as I can. And then that'll be that for clearing the trail. So we'll get the quad and pull these out. And then that should be it. Sun's out enough that we're ready to get to that deck and start weatherproofing the deck. Where the sun is shining, it's all dry and perfectly good. And as you get around the side of the yurt where the sun has not yet been shining or just started to shine, it's still pretty frosty up there. So it's cool out yet, but not too bad. It's funny though, you can see this line exactly where the sun is dry, and exactly where the sun isn't is frosty. But we can start with this section of the deck and start getting that part done, so that's what we'll do now. Well, it's coming along. I've moved all the way around the side to the back here where the sun is. I just have this little section here to do that's in the sun. And this section is still, even after lunch, still frosty. So the sun just literally isn't getting high enough in the sky. It's a little afternoon. I think it's about 12:30. And the sun just isn't getting high enough in the sky anymore to get back here. So we're gonna have to wait until it comes around the side of the yurt to thaw this section out here and do that section. So that's all right. We'll maybe just go have a little lunch and wait for things to warm up just a bit. It's only 3 degrees apparently right now, but 3 degrees Celsius. But it feels gorgeous in the sun, so we'll take that. Yeah, good day to be out here for sure. Let's see what the old cabin says we're at with that solar heater on the door. Well, it feels warmer. Cabin is at about 9 degrees Celsius, which looks like it is about what? Just about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So definitely makes a difference. Yeah, you stick your hand in there and you can feel warm air just blowing out of there quite nicely. So that really is making a big difference to the internal temperature here. It just keeps it that much warmer. Well, while we wait for the rest of the deck to thaw out so we can finish that waterproofing, I've got these old rotten logs here on the yard that I pulled in years ago, thinking that this is where I wanted to process firewood. Anyway, they're all sort of rotten and decrepit at this point, but they're taking up a good amount of space in through here beside the woodshed. What I'd like to do with them, because they're not really worth much, is cut them into sections and then stack them up to create some Hugelkultur mounds. So Hugelkultur mounds, if you don't know, it's a way of gardening where you basically stack up kind of a teepee shape of rotten logs and debris and leaves and stuff like that, and you just let it rot, and it becomes a really rich, nitrogen-rich place to plant vegetables and food and things like that, and flowers and whatever. So this isn't an ideal spot because it gets a bit of shade, but there are certain things that would probably grow pretty well in here. Lettuce might grow really well on a Hugelkultur mound over here, something like that. So anyway, instead of just leaving this mess the way it is, I thought I would cut them up and just stack up 2 Hugelkultur mounds for next year and just give it a try next year and see how they do. So I'm going to cut these up and stack them up here as part of our winter maintenance. And that'll be one of the jobs I get done today. So here we go. Well, 2 piles of logs anyway. I think we'll probably have to throw some debris on them for a couple of years in order to get enough actual soil in there that they are plantable, but better cleaned up than what it was. So happy with that. Let's go see if that deck is actually thawed out yet, so we can finish that job. Well, the frost is off anyway, so that should be good. Yeah, there's sun's creeping around the corner now. Whew. Well, that's her. Sun, you can see, is just creeping around that corner now, but hopefully that'll dry nicely. So there's that deck done for the season. And now we're ready to get a bunch of snow on it and not worry too much about it getting damaged. So that's a big job. That's a good one to get done. Yeah, time for a beer, right? Yes. No beer for the dog. Let's have a look at what the trail cams had on them. Something there, I don't know what that is. Maybe a fox. It's a nighttime one. Maybe a fox, I don't know. Still image. Oh, got one deer. Just one doe walking past. Again at night. So, not too bad. A couple of deer, one raccoon, and maybe a fox back here in a still image. So, there we go. So, let's go set those back out again and see what else we can capture. I'm curious to see what kind of deer activity is moving from our neighbor's land onto ours as we get closer to the rut. So, we'll see if we can position something on the road allowance between us. It isn't too obvious. There's a pretty decent deer trail going through here onto our property through this little band here. And the rise in the neighbor's property drops right there, so they'd feel pretty safe down on that side. So there's a pretty good chance they get to the top of this hill and then go for cover. So we'll put a camera just on our side in here and see who comes along. Have a look where this trail goes exactly. Yeah. It goes directly to a bedding area. Right there. Nice south-facing sun coming through those trees and some cover. Here we are. So, two set. Like I say, we'll see who comes along. Come on. Let's go. What are you doing? Getting all muddy and muskeggy before we get in the truck to go home? You're awesome. Thanks. Yeah, go right through. Yeah, go through that ice. Fail. Okay, folks, well, that's going to about do it for us. Feel good about getting that deck all waterproof. That was my big job for today, and got a few other odds and ends done as well that needed doing. So good day's work out there. Got that trail all cleared off, which is nice, and Hugelkultur mounds all mounded up. So I think we're in good shape at this point. So yeah, next couple videos might be just some fun adventure stuff, but we'll see what comes down the tubes. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Stinky dog. You stink. She stinks.